You're listening to the Storied Coaching Podcast with Aaron J. Jacobs, episode number 105. This week, we're talking all about making a marketing mental shift that will make all the difference when you're talking to prospective customers. Forward.
What if you could rewrite your current story? How would you spend your time? What would your career or business look like? What kind of life would you design? Welcome to Storied Coaching, the podcast for high-performing leaders that provides you with tools and insights for building a thriving business that fuels an amazing life on your terms. I'm Aaron J. Jacobs, and as a master coach and the CEO of OMH Creative and Storied Coaching, I've had the privilege and opportunity to learn what it takes to rewrite your story. It's never too late for a rewrite.
Welcome to the podcast this week, heroes. This week, I'm going to be talking about marketing. So shifting the gears into marketing. If you are a marketer, entrepreneur, somebody in sales, really, you've heard me say this before as well. If you are in business at all, you are a salesperson in some capacity. So marketing and sales, we like to divide those two out because of the fact that it's overwhelming for one person to do, let's be perfectly honest, or it's sometimes entire teams. And so we split that work stream of talking to a potential customer and telling them what you do and getting them to pick you. We split that into marketing and sales, but really it's all one process, right? It's getting to know another person that has a need, a problem to solve, and you are trying to match it with the product and help them solve the problem with your product and have them choose you as the best solution to that problem. Really, that's what it all boils down to. Everything else is just how you talk to the person and when, and if they vibe with you and all of these other little things that go along with it. I've been thinking a lot about this lately because specifically as we have spun up the new brand for Olympus Men, we need to do our regular cadence of content. And so we have nurtured emails and texts that go out and things like that. And so we've been designing templates and having those go out once or twice a week for emails and things like that. And as I was designing those and writing copy, a lot of times I like to do those things first. As the CEO, I have very strong opinions because of my marketing and sales background about the tone of the copy and the way that things look. And so I have found that it makes my life much easier as a leader, and I tend to not micromanage as much. So I take myself out of the equation because I know I've had a bad habit of that when I was younger. And one of the ways I solved that was by giving examples, strong examples at first, templates, really, North Stars, whatever you want to call it, that other people can look at and go, oh, that's what he's going for. This is the kind of thing he wants. This is the tone of his writing. This is the way that he wants the brand voice to be. It makes it way easier when you're hiring people to take over those work streams, which you usually do pretty quickly when you're spinning up a business. And it helps them to be able to know exactly where to go. And it might change over time. I'm not saying it needs to be a rigid structure, but it at least gives them a very strong start of what they can be doing, where they should go, so they can color inside the lines at first, and then eventually probably color outside them a little bit as they grow things and they get more confident, but at least gives them a strong start. And so I have been doing this lately. And one of the things that has come up in conversations, I'm doing this because I have it on the brain. We've been talking with some of our clients, specifically in the technology space, that we help with explainer videos. So another portion of our business that isn't Olympus Men, it's the OMH creative side, where I do most of my marketing and creative work and design and things like that. And our teams work on that kind of stuff. And as I was having some of these kickoff conversations with clients, we have a questionnaire that they fill out that really helps what I call prime the pump on what kind of vibe are they looking for? What kind of videos do they like? What kind of videos do they hate? Which can be really important as well. So we can stay away from that kind of look and feel. It really saves time. It really helps them to focus themselves and their leadership team or their marketing team or whoever they're working with on what does this video need to be? What is it trying to say? Who is it talking to? And as those conversations happen with them, through no fault of their own, it's been beaten into people. I have noticed that there's these bad marketing habits. And it's not that they're coming out of a place of doing their job badly. It's just that they're thinking about the way to approach telling people about their product or service from a way that is not as effective as if you did it a slightly different way. And it's much more effective. when you're talking to customers. Other customers, we like to talk about B2B and B2C and C2C and all of these different modalities of how you talk to customers. But in the end, it's person to person. It's human to human. And humans absorb and take information better, I have found through my years of marketing and working with all kinds of large brands, a slightly different way that is much more effective. So first, let me tell you about the way that most people do it, which I am noticing more and more. It just gets worse and worse as far as that the audience does not want to hear it this way, because they've heard it this way so many times and they're tired of it and they instantly start to turn off. They do what, when I'm coaching our storied team students and we're talking about storytelling, I talk about force field up and force field down moments. And force field up moments are usually when people immediately go on guard, their bullshit detector goes off because they feel like they're being sold to, or it's in a way that seems very structured and it's not treating them like they're a human, and it's not about them anymore. It's about your product and service, which honestly they could give a flying fuck about. They don't care about how cool your thing is, your blue widget, whatever you're selling, whatever your service is. They want to know how you're going to solve their pain right now, the pain that they are in, the stress that they're under, their manager that maybe is telling them they have to solve this problem or their job is at stake. That is what they care about. And so the way to think about marketing that is not the most effective way, let's go ahead, for sake and purpose of us talking today, let's say this is the bad way. This is bad marketing, okay? And if you're doing this, it's okay. If you see yourself in this, it's okay. I'm going to show you the bad problem, and then I'm going to immediately give you the Band-Aid and the rash lotion so it doesn't hurt so much, okay? So bad marketing is, it's all about your product. You jump right in with, here's our product. This is what it does. This is our service. This is what it does. This is who we are. Oh my gosh, the worst case scenario of this, and I have actually seen this when we've been coaching clients and had to fight with them a little bit at first, and then they start to get it, is several slides if they're in a pitch meeting or it's a pre-sales meeting, and there's 3 or 4 slides up front about like how their company was started and what the founder's name is and all this stuff. Like, again, customer does not give a flying fuck. Okay. It does not matter to them about your company and the name and the logo and what company used to be called. And now this is who you are. And you grew from this to this. And now you have this many locations. They do not care. Okay. It's not about your product. It's not about you. So bad marketing is, here's my product. Start immediately talking about your product and what it does. Okay. Also, here's what it does. So here's my product. Here's what it does. And this is what's so good about it. This is why it's great. Here's my product. Here's what it does. This is what's so great about it, which is where a lot of our customers start at first. Let's think what they think that they want and how they think that they want to say it when they are making an explainer video, a 60 to 90-second video that's going to tell prospective customers about how they can solve their pain. Sometimes they default into this bad marketing pattern of, here's my product, here's what it does, and this is what's so cool about it. Again, they don't care. But we can make them care very quickly just by changing those 3 things. So let's move away from, here's my product, here's what it does, this is what's so cool about it, to, here's your problem. Talk directly to them. Here's your problem. You should have already done some due diligence on who is your best prospect. Who needs this product or service more than anyone? Who have you decided that you're talking to? Because you need to make that decision. If you try to talk to everyone, the C-suite, middle management, operations, then you're talking to no one. Now nobody cares because it's not enough about them specifically. So you need to talk about, is it specifically for this kind of person, this kind of age range? This is the kind of problems they're faced with on a daily basis. This is what's happening in their industry and how it's affecting them. That is where you come from at first. Okay. So here's your problem. We already know what your problem is. We know you. Here's your problem. And here's the benefit of solving it. Not only here's your problem, but here's why you want to solve it. Because they might not even know it yet. They would agree with you that yes, that is a problem or it's not optimal, but they might not have already taken the step to, and you really need to make it a priority to solve it. Here's why you want to solve it, because XYZ is going to happen if you don't. Here's what will happen immediately, and here's what might happen 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 9 months from now, a year from now, and now you're fired. Now your company is coming to a screeching halt because you didn't take care of this now. Building some urgency in there as well, potentially. It's always a go-to for any kind of marketing is the fear of missing out, the fear of not taking action, of staying in inaction and in inaction, and how that can be the thing that actually blows everything up. Good marketing, again, those first two steps are, here's your problem, here's why you want to solve it. Now, this last bit is the frosting on top of the cake. This is what most people don't do, and this little extra bit will differentiate you as far as your competition, as far as your product, your services, and who you are. It's here's why you have tried and failed. Here's what you have tried. We know you have this problem. And here's what you've tried to do to solve it. Here's the band-aids you've tried to do. Here's the workarounds you've tried to do. And here's why it's failed. It's not your fault. Of course it's failed because you didn't have our solution. Okay? Now you get to talk about yourself. Now you get to talk about your solution and how cool it is. But it's more of a, oh, and by the way, we have a product that'll solve that. Okay? It's really on the back end of it. It's not all about you at first. Again, to go over that again, bad marketing. Here's my product. Here's what it does. And here's what's so cool about it. Just going right in with that. Okay? Because you're afraid of losing the prospect and you want to do that right away. It's a much more effective approach. It creates force field down moments where they're open and emotionally available to you and want to listen to you. If instead you do, here's your problem, here's the benefit of solving it, and here's what you've tried and failed. It's not your fault. We can help you with that. And here's our thing. It actually solves this exact problem. Just a slightly different way of telling the story when you're in marketing and sales and you're trying to tell someone that might not know about your solution, that you know has a certain problem, that you know that your product or service or coaching or whatever you do solves, but you want to talk about them first, their pain, their problem, the frustrations they've probably had because they haven't been able to solve this, because they haven't had you. They haven't had your service. They haven't had your product. Come at it from that angle. I swear people are going to listen so much more to you and come closer to you and want to have a conversation. No matter where they're at in the quote unquote marketing funnel, whether it's just the awareness phase or whether you've moved on and then you're further down and you're trying to close a sale. Using this model will very much help you way, way more than the typical demo or the typical way of marketing and telling you about things. So move away from that older approach where it's all about you. Make it more about them. That's not a new sentiment. Making it about the customer, not about you. Most of you are really smart and you already know that's probably something you want to do. But I find that these specific steps of here's your problem, here's the benefit of solving it, like really help them come the extra half step of you shouldn't keep it the way that it is. Here's the benefit of solving it now, of taking action now rather than later. And then here's why and what you've tried in the past and why it's failed. Explain that to them like you're a friend. Let them know it's not their fault. They're not stupid. They just didn't have, ta-da, your awesome product, service, or you that could have helped them with that. But now they have a chance to learn about it, use it, and solve their pain. So just wanted to let you know about that today. And these are the kinds of things that come up for me when I am designing things, when I am talking to things. Sometimes I forget about all of the accumulated knowledge that I've been really lucky to receive from my mentors, from wonderful people at companies like Microsoft and SAP and Meta and companies large and small, that I've been around people that are way smarter than me, especially when I was younger, about marketing and about marketing concepts. And sometimes it's just these little tiny adjustments that I remember people teaching me that made me approach things differently when I'm talking to customers. That's just way more effective than trying to make it all about your product and your service. So if you're working on an email campaign right now, if you're working on copy, if you're working on making a video, if you are looking at making a podcast like we help with our clients do, thinking about things more in these terms of doing a little bit of forward research and finding out what it's like to walk a mile in your customer's shoes, what kind of pain, what kind of pebbles are in their shoes right now that are ouchy, and they might just be putting up with it because they don't have time to take off the shoe and shake the rock out. But if you can point it out to them and say, hey, I get it. I've had that same little rock in my shoe. And forever, I couldn't figure out if it was worth taking out or not, but I can tell you it feels so much better to take it out. And here's all the reasons I hadn't taken it out. Probably the same with you, right? Because you're so busy. You've got all these other things you're doing. You don't have time to take off your shoe and take off the pebble because you're just trying to make the old stuff work. But it is worth your time, and here's why. And by the way, I know exactly how to get your shoe off really fast and get rid of the pebble so that you can just keep walking, and you're going to feel so much better as soon as we do it. I don't know if that was a horrible analogy or not, but it's the one that popped into my head. So hopefully you can apply some of this to whatever you're doing, conversations that you're having. This can be even when you're having conversations with people at a networking event, talking to them about what's going on with them instead of being self-focused on you. People love talking about themselves. People love it when you talk about how to solve their problems if they're willing to open up and share that stuff with you. So look for opportunities to do that as well, to let them be vulnerable and then to help them out. And then eventually the conversation might come around to, I actually have a service that can help you with that, or a product that can help you with that. All right, my friends, that's all for this week. I will talk to you soon. Go out there, market in a good way, not bad marketing, good marketing. Here's your problem. Here's the benefit of solving it. Here's why what you've tried has failed in the past, but that's okay. It's not your fault. And by the way, I have a thing. All right, my friends, I'll talk to you next time. Bye for now. If you are a man interested in learning more about testosterone optimization and other cutting-edge wellness therapies coupled with high-performance coaching, you have to check out olympusmen.com. There you will find out more about how to work with us, as well as a free guide that will answer everything you always wanted to know about testosterone therapy and if it might be right for you. Head to olympusmen.com right now to learn more.
Thanks for listening to Storied Coaching with Aaron J. Jacobs. If you want more information or resources from the podcast, visit us at storiedcoaching.com.